just less than an hour's drive from the bustling metropolis of London, is a place that seems to be one of another world entirely. Here lies a scenic expanse of over 400 acres of ancient woodlands, meadows, and grasslands called the Langdon Hills Country Park. Here, one can take leisurely strolls along placid meandering trails through prehistoric trees that seem like something has jumped right out of the pages of a fairy tale. And walking amongst these groves, it is easy to forget that one is just a stone's throw away from one of the biggest cities in the world. It is quiet here, a sense of solitude everywhere, with an almost mystical quality pervading the air. And it is this quaint, picturesque charm that draws in visitors from all over, who come to enjoy picnics, hikes, and other outdoor activities. However, what many of these people might not realize is that buried away within those ancient trees is a dark, dank place full of stories of hauntings and supernatural terror, and happens to be one of the most haunted places in the country. Just adjacent to this park, tucked away well off the trails and overgrown with weeds and brush, is a crumbling dome structure, jutting up like an ancient ruins of some lost civilization. Within this ruin is a hole set within the stonework, which plunges down into the inky blackness as if a pit to the underworld itself. And it is all very forbidding, permeated by a certain sense of almost palpable dread. This hole and its structure are called cache as well, and are inextricably linked to the history of the area. Back in the 18th and 19th centuries, the area had several water wells that aimed to tap into the rich reserves of mineral water beneath the land here. And one of these wells was first sunk in 1899 at a farm owned by Mr. King, who found that although the water had a strange taste, when given to cattle, it seemed to reinvigorate them, make them noticeably healthier. Word got out that the mineral water here had medicinal properties, and one of the people very interested in this was a farmer by the name of Edwin Cash. In 1902, he went about sinking his own well near the King farm in the hopes of tapping into this reserve of supposedly miraculous water, eventually deciding to try bottling it and turning it into a money-making venture. To this end, in 1919, Cash sank several more wells around the area to increase output, and began bottling the water in earnest under the name Vange Water Company Ltd., during which time he also heavily advertised that the water had been officially tested and scientifically proven to have remarkable medicinal qualities. Before long, Cash's water was being sold at pharmacies across the region, and he was ranking in money. Unfortunately, several of these wells collapsed, and another that was dug failed to produce any water at all, causing Cash to keep sinking them. His fifth and final well would be designed with a dome stone structure, almost like a classical temple, supposedly modeling after a pub he owned, and it is this inscrutable structure that still stands today. Cash would eventually be forced to stop the water business in 1924, allegedly because of the fears that the mineral water was being contaminated by run of tainted with tuberculosis from the nearby sanatorium up the hill, after which his wells were left to the elements to collapse and rot away, disappearing altogether into the woods, becoming feral versions of their former glory. The most famous is that domed well, now abandoned, weed-choked, and still strewn with shards of glass from its bottling days, known as the testament to the area's history as a mineral spa, but also accruing quite a reputation for being a cursed and haunted place. Indeed, there are numerous strange tales surrounding this well, and by some accounts, it is ground zero for all manner of supernatural strangeness. The main attraction here is the purported ghost of Cash himself, who supposedly roams the area and does not like visitors. The specter will apparently aggressively chase people or otherwise try to scare them off, and he especially does not seem to like anyone going near his precious well number 5. Other ghosts are said to roam the area as well, including the spirits of children who died at the very sanatorium that put Farmer Cash out of business, which will poke or prod people and even try to hold their hands. Mysterious orbs of light are also frequently seen in the structure or in the surrounding woods, and the list of weirdness at this well is long. One group who has investigated the well and its surroundings extensively is a paranormal research group called Essex Ghost Hunters, and one of its members, Russell Old, has described some of the things they have witnessed. We also had a guy who was 7 feet tall, stocky and broad. He was the nicest guy you'd ever spoken to, but we took him up to the top of the hill, and he got so aggressive. The others were telling me that he wasn't right and he'd never spoken to anyone like that. He was cursing and throwing his arms around, so we had to turn him around. He wasn't under attack, he was just feeling the energy. We had to talk to him to get him out, and all of a sudden he came back to us. He said, "I just wanted to kill everybody." So you do worry. You could see his hands and he was really containing something. What is it about this place that makes it so intensely and aggressively haunted? Is it something in the history of this place? Or is it in the design of the well? Or maybe even some quality to the land itself? Or are these just spooky stories surrounding a fairly spooky place? The Essex Ghost Hunters group apparently still gives tours of the park and its well. So maybe the best way to find out for sure is to book yourself a visit and see for yourself. Just be careful out there. Just want to send a shout out to my subscribers. Thank you so much for all your support. It's really unbelievable, and more good content to come. Thank you so much.